Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. I actually have a clip for you guys, and I'm curious if you guys can spot the mistake that the opponent makes in this particular clip. So I'll just play it. There's no audio, so there's no need to listen for anything except for my voice. I take a lot of fall damage after an unfortunate fall. Very lucky to survive, to be honest. But effectively, I'm like 100 HP, right? So I should be getting pushed, which is why I'm boxing up and playing sort of defensively. But the opponent, if you could sort of track them, what are they doing? Essentially, what are they doing? They're right here, then they move over to the left. It's actually very telegraphed, so I want you guys to watch this again, right? I'll sort of bring it back a little bit and watch this again. It's very telegraphed, right? They're dropping down, and what's the mistake right now? I think it's pretty obvious, right? A lot of people, you guys might say oh, diagonal box fighting, they're not sort of, playing diagonal. Here's the mistake. It's pretty obvious from this sort of freeze frame. They're building the cone as they're dropping down. In other words, they're trying to do two things at once. And what this does is you have to understand, as you're building, you then have to switch back to your gun if you want to shoot. And during that switch, during that gun swap delay, there is a point of vulnerability. And you can see it. They don't have their gun out. They can't shoot. They are defenseless. And me knowing that, because usually when people drop down from top to bottom like this, on a wall like this, they usually want to build like a floor, a cone, usually a cone, something like that, right? Just so they have a surface to land on. And then they can sort of play against this wall and sort of aggro me. Because I know that from experience, I sort of predict that they're going to do this, and then I go for a peek, because actually it's a relatively good time to go for a peek, because I know they're going to do exactly what they do here. Does that make sense? So this is why I was able to turn the fight around, right? Yes, obviously they should be over here instead in this tile, right? Diagonal box fighting is something that you should implement anyways, because there's no harm to it. It's only benefit, right? You get to swing on my wall, and it's just nicer. You get to place this wall to block off your left hand. It's just a nicer way to sort of take the box fight. But in general, I just don't think it's the right play for him, right? This is definitely not what you want to do. Why not just place the floor up top here? Does that make sense? Instead of playing on my layer, play on the layer above, and then sit up here and then box fight like this. And in my opinion, that's just a safer angle. But you see this point of vulnerability. If you do want to jump down and sort of aggro me very aggressively, because you can see the fall damage that I took, sure, that's fine. You just need to place the cone, wait, and then drop, right? And sort of pull your gun out as you drop. You should have your shotgun out here while you're dropping, so you can trade with me if I do edit on you. And it should be done separately. The cone and dropping down should not be sort of done at the same time, and you can see why, right? Look what ends up happening. I get 100 damage, right, because of the point of vulnerability and that sort of time window where I'm able to take the shot. Then after that, I actually own the surface. I hold for a little bit. They spray through. I wait until the opportune moment, which is exactly now, because the wall just refreshed. When the wall just refreshed, what I mean by refresh is I just placed a new wall. The wall is at the highest HP, and that's the most opportune time to actually go for a window at it and then full box them. And that's exactly what I do. It becomes very easy to play like that, right? So I wait for the wall to be full HP, or at least they stop spraying, and then it's very easy to play from there. And this all occurred because of combination things. There's two mistakes really, right? The main one, in my personal opinion, is the vulnerability caused by gun swap delay by dropping down. And the second one is the lack of diagonal box fighting, which I absolutely think should be implemented regardless of the situation. It's just a benefit. There's no con to it, honestly. I don't see the con. I just believe it's just the best way to sort of play it, because then you own this particular wall right here, if you can see this, and then it becomes very easy to sort of reset or place a wall or just play defensively if I decide to play aggro back on you, because oftentimes that's what defensive players do, because they realize they don't have enough time to actually get their heals off, so they'll try to sort of even out the HP in a different way. Instead of healing, they'll try to do damage to you, because think about it, if I do 100 damage to my opponent, I'm now even footing with my opponent, and I feel like that's a really good way to sort of even it out and make sure that you're not constantly on the back foot. Anticipating that, the enemy should absolutely just chill on a diagonal and be ready with this wall to reset, or sort of have a plan B if something happens and I edit on him, right? So diagonal box fighting, I'm sure you heard all the time on my channel, very powerful. But the main takeaway from this particular video is the fact that you should not be dropping down from top down like this. If you're above someone's cone, do not drop down on their wall with your gun swap delay. Do not do that. Do them separately if you really want to do that. Ideally, you just don't even play on this layer, but just try not to drop down like that. It's a very vulnerable position, and yes, you will get punished by even intermediate players. It's not that hard to punish. Just watch out for that, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something new, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.